Welcome back to Superbly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
So glad to be here for this one.
Yeah, and before we jump in, I should mention this material actually comes from a SpeakDuo lesson. You can go to SpeakDuo.com to meet new people from around the world who are, practicing English on video calls.
Right. It's a great way to become more confident with your speaking abilities.
Totally. But today, we're skipping the usual banter, like completely skipping it.
Straight to business.
Exactly. This deep dive is strictly for advanced English learners. We're diving straight into unpacking 15 really advanced idioms and phrases.
And for each phrase, we're not just going to, throw a dictionary definition at you.
Right, that's not helpful.
No, not at all. We want to compare each one to a similar word so you can really see its nuanced meaning. Plus, we'll give you workplace and IELTS-style examples to help you master it.
Love that. Okay, so let's start with beginnings. Like when things are just starting out or, unexpectedly happening, we go from surprise to planning and then to execution.
The perfect life cycle of a project.
Right. So our first phrase is out of the blue.
Oh, this is a classic. And the nuance here, people always compare it to the word randomly.
Oh, yeah, I do that. Like a random occurrence.
Right, but randomly just means without a pattern,
Uh-huh.
like rolling dice.
Right, right.
But out of the blue, that specifically implies a complete shock or a totally unexpected event for the recipient. It comes from a lightning bolt coming out of a clear blue sky.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that has way more impact than just
Yes,
random.
exactly.
So if you're talking to a colleague at work, you wouldn't say they called randomly. You'd say a former colleague called me out of the blue with a job offer.
Yes, you were completely shocked.
Right. Or for an IELTS Part 2 exam, if you have to describe an important sudden life event, you could say, I got my acceptance letter out of the blue and it changed everything.
That's a great example. It really captures the shock value. But what if it's not a shock? What if you're kind of expecting it?
Okay, what do we use then?
Then we use our second phrase, which is on the cards.
On the cards. Like tarot cards.
Exactly like tarot cards, or the cards you've been dealt. People usually compare this to the word possible.
Okay, I can see that.
But possible just means it could happen theoretically. On the cards means it is highly likely, like it is explicitly expected very soon.
Right, so it's a much stronger prediction.
Finally.
So if I'm talking to my boss, I wouldn't just say, yeah, contract renewals are possible. I'd say, because of early client interest, contract renewals are definitely on the cards for next month.
Oh, your boss would love that phrasing. It sounds so confident.
Right. Or, Becca IELTS, if you're planning logistics for a move, you could say relocating to London is on the cards this year.
Perfect. Which means you actually have to start doing the work.
The hard part.
Right. Which brings us to phrase number 3, to get off the ground.
So how is that different from just saying to begin?
Well, begin is, it's very passive, like a movie begins. You just sit there.
Yeah, that's true.
But getting off the ground, think of an airplane. You have to overcome all that initial friction, the gravity, the logistical hurdles, just to make real progress.
So it implies effort. It implies you fought to make it happen.
Exactly. You pushed through the hard part.
So at work, you could tell a colleague, we finally got the new community garden project off the ground after finding enough committed volunteers.
Yes, you're emphasizing the struggle it took to start. And then once it started, you want it to, stick around.
Right.
Which is phrase 4, to take root.
Like a tree. So I guess people compare this to the verb to happen.
You nailed it. Something happening is just a one-off event. It happens and it's over. But taking root means becoming deeply embedded.
It's firmly established over time.
Exactly, like it's grown into the environment.
So for an IELTS Part 2 answer, you could talk about developing a new habit. Like, I wanted to read more. And after a few months, a daily 30-minute reading habit really took root.
That is a beautiful way to phrase it. It sounds so natural.
But wait, I have a question. Let me push back a little here.
Sure, go for it.
If something is on the cards it's highly expected to happen. Does that mean we don't have to put in the work to get it off the ground? It'll just happen anyway.
I see what you mean. But no, definitely not. Anticipation doesn't do the work for you.
Sadly.
Right. Even if a promotion is on the cards, it doesn't negate the need to overcome that initial friction to get your new responsibilities off the ground.
Got it. The universe still makes you put in the effort.
It always does. And, well, naturally, after a project starts, you usually hit some resistance.
For sure. Things go wrong.
Exactly. We move from starting things up to facing obstacles. Which brings us to phrase number 5, an uphill struggle.
Let me guess, the basic comparison is difficult.
Yep. But a task can be difficult and still be quick, like opening a really tight jar.
Yeah, that's hard, but it takes 5 seconds.
Right. An uphill struggle, though, that implies a massive, continuous, and just exhausting effort over time. You are constantly fighting gravity.
Oh, I like that. So working full-time while studying for professional exams, that is an uphill struggle.
Absolutely. Or, training for a marathon. It's not just hard, it's a relentless grind.
Okay, so what if the struggle is because we completely messed up the plan?
Then you probably did phrase number 6. You managed to leave out of account.
Wait, isn't that just to forget something?
It's worse than forgetting. Forgetting is a simple memory lapse, like, oh, I forgot my keys.
Right.
But leaving out of account is a systemic strategic failure. It means you failed to consider a crucial variable in your entire planning process.
So it's a structural failure.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm talking to a colleague about an outdoor festival we're planning, I could say, we completely left the weather out of account, and now it's ruined.
Exactly. Or you left traffic delays out of account and missed the flight entirely.
Yikes. And when you do that, the plan dies.
It does, which is phrase 7, to fall through.
To fall through. How is that different from to delay?
Well, delayed plans happen later. If a plan falls through, it is completely canceled. Like, it failed to happen entirely, the floor opened up and it fell right through.
Oh, wow, so there's no coming back from it.
Nope. It's done.
So my hiking trip fell through because of the heavy rain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not happening next weekend. It's just off.
Exactly. And, if things keep falling through, you might be dealing with phrase 8. You might be onto a loser.
Onto a loser. That sounds harsh.
It is harsh. People compare it to making a mistake. But a mistake is a single error. Being onto a loser means the entire plan or project or even the company is inherently doomed from the start.
Oh, man. So it's fundamentally broken.
Right. The core idea is just bad.
So, like talking to my boss, I could say we realized the startup was onto a loser after it ran out of money in 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a product failing all its initial tests. But I should warn you.
Wait, is this too informal for a meeting with my boss? Like, would I actually say onto a loser in a corporate setting?
That's a really good point. It's probably not something you'd say to a big external client, right?
Yeah, that'd be bad.
But internally, it's incredibly useful. It's perfect for those internal strategy pivots when you need to signal, hey, we need to cut our losses now.
Ah, I see. It's a wake-up call.
Exactly. And when you deliver a wake-up call like that, it definitely affects team morale.
Oh, I bet.
Which naturally takes us to attitudes and reactions, our third section. When a plan is a loser, you might have to use phrase 9 to take the wind out of someone, or take the wind out of their sails.
So is this like to disappoint?
It's way more sudden. Disappointment is a general lingering feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the wind out of someone specifically and suddenly deflates their high confidence or excitement.
Oh, I was thinking of this like popping a balloon at a party.
Oh, that is the perfect mental image, yes.
Yeah, pop, and the energy is totally gone.
Like if your boss gives you sudden criticism on a project you loved, it takes the wind right out of you.
Or an unexpected cancellation ruining weeks of preparation.
Exactly. And how people handle that deflation shows their true colors. Which brings us to phrase 10, to take something seriously.
I feel like I know this one. It's just to focus on something, right?
Actually, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, focus is just attention. Like, you can focus on a video game, but taking something seriously implies deep respect. You are acknowledging its fundamental importance.
Oh, I see. It's a value judgment.
Precisely.
So in an IELTS exam, you could say you take honesty seriously when meeting new people. Or, at work, you tell the new guy, we take safety protocols seriously here.
Exactly. It's not just a rule, it's a core value. And if someone ignores that value, you might need phrase 11, a laughing matter. We almost always use this in the negative, like, it is not a laughing matter.
So it means a sad event.
Not necessarily. Something can be incredibly serious without being sad, like a tax audit.
Okay, fair point. Not sad, just terrifying.
Right. Saying something is not a laughing matter is a specific rebuke. You use it when someone is treating a critical issue as a joke and you need them to starve.
Got it. So if a team member is joking about missing strict deadlines, I'd say, hey, this deadline is not a laughing matter.
Exactly. You're snapping them back to reality. But if they don't snap back and their work is terrible, we get to phrase 12. Their plan might turn out to be a joke.
To be a joke. I assume we're comparing this to be funny.
Yes, and that's the trap. Being funny is a positive trait. But a plan being a joke, that means it is completely ridiculous, it lacks facts, and it has zero merit.
It's an insult.
A huge insult.
Like a budgetless marketing plan that has no data. You'd tell your boss this proposal is a joke.
Right. It's never going to move forward. So let's look at the complete opposite of a plan that's a joke. We are into our final section, details, contradictions, and foolishness.
Nice.
Phrase 13 is giving chapter and verse.
Giving chapter and verse. That sounds so formal, like a summary.
Far better than a summary. A summary is just a high-level overview. Giving chapter and verse means giving exact, precise, and highly detailed information without any hesitation.
Ah, like an expert.
Exactly. It comes from being able to quote biblical text perfectly.
Wow. So a supervisor explaining the new procedures perfectly during a meeting without looking at her notes. She's giving chapter and verse.
Exactly. She knows it inside and out. But, sometimes people know all the details, yet they still make impossible demands.
Oh yeah, people are complicated.
Right. Which leads to phrase 14, to have it both ways.
So like a compromise.
Actually, it's the opposite of a compromise.
Really?
Yeah, a compromise involves sacrifice from both sides, right?
Dude, you meet in the middle.
But trying to have it both ways means you greedily want two mutually exclusive, contradictory options at the exact same time.
Oh, like wanting your cake and eating it too.
Exactly.
So someone wanting the total freedom of freelancing, but also demanding the exact security of a steady corporate salary at the same time.
Yes. They are trying to have it both ways, and it's impossible.
Which is pretty foolish.
Extremely foolish. Which brings us perfectly to our final phrase, number 15, dim-witted.
Dim-witted. So like uneducated.
Not quite. Uneducated just means lacking formal schooling. That's a long-term state. Dim-witted means extremely foolish, mentally slow, or just lacking basic common sense in a specific moment.
Like a brain freeze.
Exactly.
So locking my keys inside my car, I'd feel so dim-witted.
Or putting salt in your coffee instead of sugar.
Oh man, I've done that. It's funny. The irony of human nature is that we often demand chapter and verse from our colleagues, but then we act totally dim-witted ourselves before our morning coffee.
It is so true. We expect perfection from everyone else, but we are a mess.
Seriously. Well, that wraps up the 15 idioms, but we're not quite done. We're going to do a quick listening comprehension quiz right now.
Oh, let's see how well everyone was listening.
I'm going to present you with 8 multiple-choice questions. For each one, I will read the prompt and options A, B, and C exactly as they are.
And we really want you to think about these.
Yes. After I read the options for a question, I'll give you a cue to pause and think. Then we will immediately give you the correct answer. So here we go. Question 1. Which sentence uses the idiomatic phrase, out of the blue, correctly based on context? Option A. The professional aviation skydiving pilot was instructed to fly out of the blue during the cloud formation study. Option B. The deeply frustrated young retail clerk aggressively managed to completely drop a white line. Option C. After not hearing from him for over 5 years, my former university roommate called me completely out of the blue with a job offer. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option C. The phrase is out of the blue. Just remember our example of a former colleague unexpectedly calling you with a job offer.
Perfect. Question 2. Select the context where the phrase onto a loser is most appropriately used figuratively. Option A. Once the regulatory compliance team pointed out the fatal flaws in our patent application, we realized we were onto a loser. Option B. The professional horse racing betting commissioner was instructed to bet onto a loser during the championship race. Option C. The incredibly clumsy warehouse inventory clerk accidentally managed to quickly buy some large systems. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option A. The phrase is onto a loser. This is exactly like realizing a startup is boomed after it runs out of money.
Makes sense. Question 3. In which situation does someone accurately utilize the advanced phrase, an uphill struggle, contextually? Option A. The professional hiking and mountaineering guide was instructed to conquer an uphill struggle during the alpine training hike. Option B. Trying to convince legacy enterprise clients to migrate to our unproven cloud infrastructure proved to be an uphill struggle for the sales team. Option C. The completely terrified young wilderness traveler unexpectedly noticed an exceptionally massive, heavy tool chest. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option B. The phrase is an uphill struggle. Remember our example about studying for professional exams while working full-time?
It's exhausting just thinking about it. Question 4. Which response best demonstrates the advanced phrase on the cards figuratively? Option A. Given the exceptionally strong Q3 earnings report and rising market demand, an international expansion is definitely on the cards for next year. Option B. The professional casino gaming dealer was instructed to place cards on the cards during the poker tournament. Option C. The incredibly clumsy warehouse inventory clerk accidentally managed to quickly catch that white balance. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option A. The phrase is on the cards. Just like telling your boss that contract renewals are expected due to early client interest.
Awesome. Moving to question 5. How would a professional accurately use the phrase chapter and verse contextually? Option A. The professional biblical theology scholar was instructed to cite chapter and verse during the theological manuscript review. Option B. The completely confused amateur theater group unexpectedly decided to proudly paint a clean frame. Option C. When the auditor questioned our expense reports, our chief financial officer provided chapter and verse on every single transaction without hesitation. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option C. The phrase is chapter and verse. Think of the supervisor who explained the new rules perfectly without any hesitation.
Such a great flex. Question 6. Which scenario perfectly illustrates the meaning of the phrase to take root contextually? Option A. The professional landscaping and botanical nursery worker was instructed to watch the seeds take root in the greenhouse. Option B. After months of consistent internal workshops and leadership coaching, the new agile workflow finally began to take root across all engineering teams. Option C. The incredibly clumsy hotel maintenance worker accidentally managed to completely drop that red tray. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option B. The phrase is to take root. This is just like developing a daily 30-minute reading habit over time.
Right, it becomes embedded. Question 7. Which sentence accurately utilizes the advanced phrase to leave out of account contextually? Option A. When drafting the initial operational budget, the project manager foolishly left seasonal currency fluctuations out of account. Option B. The professional banking and financial accounting auditor was instructed to leave out of account during the ledger reconciliation. Option C. The deeply confused young kitchen assistant accidentally managed to quickly slice a fresh piece of account. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option A. The phrase is to leave out of account. Remember the festival planner who failed to consider the weather?
A huge mistake. And finally, question 8. Which of the following statements correctly uses dim-witted descriptively? Option A. The professional illumination engineer was instructed to act dim-witted during the light bulb test. Option B. Putting salt in my coffee instead of sugar was a very dim-witted mistake, but now I laugh about it. Option C. The completely terrified young wilderness traveler unexpectedly noticed a massive piece of dim-witted. Feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option B. The phrase is dim-witted. It's the perfect description for that specific moment of lacking common sense, like the salty coffee.
Ugh, the worst way to wake up. And that is the end of the quiz.
We've covered everything from starting out of the blue to dealing with dim-witted moments. The real question to ponder is, how many times have you let a project fall through simply because you left a crucial variable out of account? The next time you face an uphill struggle, ask yourself if the environment is wrong or if you're just expecting to have it both ways.
I love that. We'll keep practicing these phrases in your daily conversations, and soon they will be second nature to you. Goodbye for now.
Yeah, keep up the great work and see you next time.